all new. AM 1150 WTMP.com.
Are we live now? We live? Welcome live, Facebook, Porch Talk Radio. Like and share, please.
All right. Alrighty. It's that time again. The whole gang is here.
Live.
Last week it was me, coming back from the celebration of my mom's going home. And,
That was awesome, Eddie.
And had a, different kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
I came back last week and both Gabriel and Tim was away, and but we pulled it off. We made it through, and we here, this week. Let me give you the info. So if you want to call in to the show, during the show, the call-in number 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. If you want to call me during the week, like some people do, my cell phone number, Eddie Adams Jr. cell phone number, 813-12. Email me, Eddie, E-D-D-I-E, porchtalkradio.com. Okay?
Right now.
Immediately somebody calls. Okay, I should have had it on silent. But anyway, the world goes on. I got a text a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about my mom's passing and her celebration, her going home and stuff. And they was upset with me because I wasn't talking about George Floyd.
He's gone.
And to me, having to decide whether to talk about George Floyd or talk about Rosalie Adams Gasson, my mom.
Oh.
It wasn't no choice. And if you are a regular listener to this show, Porch Talk Radio is not connected to all the other shows that happen here on TMP. We are kind of the rebels.
Independent.
We're the outcasts.
Free thinkers.
We kind of do our own thing here. So everybody, every show on every radio and every TV channel that you turn on can be talking about something. That don't mean that topic is our topic.
There you go.
We set the time. Every day I come in here to do a show, I have an agenda. And we've been doing this thing for 10 years. And it's not based upon what anything, everything that other folks are talking about. Now I'm going to talk about George Floyd a little bit, because it's that time, it's that week, and I'm not understanding what that means to an awful lot of black folks. But 3 weeks ago, when I did the other show, and you guys know it's Porch Talk Radio, so again, I don't have to keep doing that. We just intro. If they can't keep a thought for 5 minutes, I'm sorry, Tim, because it's only been 5 minutes, and most of that was done introducing the show.
There you go.
So anyway, part of this scenario, I cried when I saw that man kneeling on that black man's neck. I was home by myself, so I could do that. It touched an awful lot of folks in the country the same way. But again, given a choice to talk about what happened to George Floyd and my mom, and I know a lot of you guys didn't know what was going on and why it was so important or special, but I knew at some point in time this would happen. They would come up with a verdict, they would decide guilty or not guilty, and then the country would either do like they did for OJ, Rodney King, all the black folks would be on one side and the white folks would be on the other side. It's the nature of the country. I'm going to say this right now, and it might make some of you mad. A lot of you may be shaking your head,
Come on, Eddie.
agreeing. But it will continue
Yes. I 100% agree with you, Eddie.
until black folks have value. See, you don't ever see them shooting young white men down like you see them shooting young black men down. I say young because one guy got shot and he was a 13-year-old. He was a threat. See, because part of this whole scenario has to do, not only do you not have value, they are afraid of you. They are scared. That has a lot to do with perception. And not only are they afraid of you, you are running. Matter of fact, you're not running. You are dashing at a high rate of speed in the opposite direction. Big old fat cops know they can't catch you, so they shoot you. I mean, that's kind of logic going through their head. If you were a young white guy, they probably couldn't catch you, but they wouldn't shoot you. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference in the train of thought of what they perceive of a black man. Because normally, they can say, well, he was confrontational. He wasn't doing this. I told him to do something. He didn't do it. Whatever the deal was. But when you're running, dashing in the opposite direction, now that's not what happened here with George Floyd. That guy, and I'm going to say this because I feel it. He literally had his knee on a black man's neck, and he was smirking. I'm gonna tell you, if you saw the darn video, he was smirking like, I know I am publicly killing this black man, and it ain't nothing you gonna do about it. That's the smirk. That's what I saw. You may have saw something different, but I saw him looking at people with the cameras on the phones, and he was like, ain't nothing you can do. Ain't nothing you gonna do. And by the time he decided to get up off that man's neck, that man was dead. That was a international, worldwide scene, public lynching on TV. That was no different than some of these movies that depict those kind of action. And this wasn't like a movie. It wasn't a scripted. It wasn't like when it was all over with George Floyd, we're gonna get up. And not only did folks watch it, nobody who could do anything did anything. Now I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm the mayor of this city. You can't tell me in 9 minutes you can't pick up the phone, call some police supervisor, and tell him to get his knee off that guy's neck. You can't tell me that could not have happened. It didn't, because he's in America. And I'm not against America, and you guys know I'm a patriotic son of a SOB. But wrong is wrong. And at the end of the day, a lot of stuff happened to black people because to the system, we have no value. And I mean, I might well say, you're worthless. You know, he felt that he could kill this black man on national, worldwide TV. Nobody would stop him. And at the end of the day, he probably felt pretty strongly that he wouldn't go to jail and he wouldn't be punished. I'm just saying.
Eddie, I have to agree with you. When it was done worldwide, most of us with half a brain say wrong is wrong. Doesn't matter the color. But the fact that he had that look and he kept it there, that's wrong. Wrong is wrong. We can't undo wrong. That was just done, okay?
Right.
Now, to the chant that's being yelled out continuously as of the last year, more so, because of the election year last year, systemic racism. If we looked at every town that has had a black person killed, it's all been run by liberal Democrats. So for people to say systemic racism is a problem, I agree. Liberal Democrats are racist. You and I know that free choice school is not an option. Liberals want you to go to the school in your neighborhood. If it's the worst one around, you're going to go there. They don't want you to have a choice to get out of the system, out of their control, whether you're black or Hispanic. It's worse, actually, right there. So systemic racism is true, Eddie. It does exist. In every one of these towns that's had these killings of a black person, liberal, Democrat controlled towns. So it's true, and Eddie, you said it initially, and I hated to hear you say it. There's nothing that is going to change liberal Democrats continuing to run these towns, because the same people, and you talk about this a lot, the black people in general, that were at one point controlled by the Democrats, are now voting for them to support them to keep these racist things in place and these failed policies across America. Chicago Mayor Lightfoot, she said just a few days ago, she doesn't want police to pursue anybody. She wants them to give a call to 1-800-HELP-ME and let them get permission to pursue. Eddie, how many more bodies are going to be piled up because of that?
Yeah, but
and that's going to be in the black neighborhoods and Hispanic neighborhoods. That's going to affect.
It's not the same thing because they kill 25, 30, 40 black folks in Chicago every weekend.
Eddie, why isn't that a big deal?
Every weekend.
Why isn't that mayor, liberal Democrat, do anything to change it?
I just said black folks have no value. Okay, if you don't have no value, then it's
Why
okay.
change the system, right?
It's okay.
Oh,
it's okay.
Eddie.
It's okay.
It's terrible.
What I'm telling you, the nature of it is,
I hate it.
when you have value in a system, they're gonna go out of their way to make sure
Control you.
no harm comes to you. It ain't about control because they've always had all the power.
You got it there. You're right.
The nature of power is power don't give up more power to somebody who has lesser. It can only be taken. And black folks got to start standing up.
Mm-hmm.
And every time a case like this happened, like the black guy was in his own garage and got shot and killed, and they wouldn't even call the paramedics. Okay, that means that nobody in that situation valued that guy who already been shot enough to call the ambulance.
Do we have a human being here?
No, see that's not what they see.
Yeah, yeah.
And until we as a people make them see, okay, well, there's gonna be. I'm gonna tell you what I saw. It's got to be some consequences. One of my sisters says that all the time. You got to be some consequences. Until you have consequences, until you force them to stop killing, stop murdering our people, they're gonna continue to do it. They've been doing it too long. They're used to it. And it's not just about the talk. It's not just about the rhetoric. It's got to be some serious consequences. Now, I ain't saying what those are. I ain't telling you get in the street and riot. I'm telling you got to be some consequences. Because if there are no consequences for bad behavior, every person that understands psychology knows if there ain't consequences for bad behavior, the bad behavior gonna keep happening.
Eddie, it's like they're.
And we got a caller. Let's go ahead and get to the caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Charles Coffey, how you doing?
Yes, sir, Mr. Coffee. Good Saturday to you.
Look here, you're 100% right. That's what integration do for you. It makes you of less value. Ever since we integrated, we've been of less value. And another thing, there must be some consequences.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. We got to make some policies. We've got to make some policies where there's some consequences. I've learned this many years ago. You cannot deal with white America, especially this white America we're dealing with now. And I'm not putting down, I'm not talking racism or whatever. The only way you can hurt people like these people out here now is hit them in their pocket. Must be some consequences.
Right. Yes.
So it must be some consequences. Listen here, the only way they want to keep him out of jail, they know they're going to kill him in prison. They know that. They will know the day when he get there. I worked in that jailhouse system. They will know the day when he get there. That's all going down right now. But listen here, I heard Bishop Patty say this morning, the Democratic Party is weak. Is weak. Let me tell you something. And I ain't saying, don't get me wrong now, because I'm mad at both parties. I'm saying the hell with both parties now. And I'm more independent now because you know something. Biden, he talking about getting a bill for the Asians. Man, look at here. Black folk been terrorized for 200 years.
Yep.
Look at Emmett Till and all that back there for 200 years. Listen to this. How about us? You hit the nail on the head. Ain't nobody, we not valued no more. And the only way we get valued, we value ourselves. That's right.
Right.
Don't vote for these people. You got to marry here, tell them she ain't done nothing for black folk. And I'm telling black folk, back off from her next time. When she come to your church and say, hey, get on out of here. Don't come back. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it because I want people in Tampa to know it's a political game.
Mm-hmm. Big time. Blood sport.
You are a pawn.
Yes. Whew. Eddie.
There is nobody coming to your community this Saturday, next Saturday, the Saturday after that.
There you go. Reach it.
When you get to be within 6 months, maybe 8 months of an election cycle, all those politicians are programmed that they don't have to spend a whole bunch of time. They just got to come, smile, kiss some babies, go to a couple of churches, get in the ear of a couple of pastors, and the pastors bring the congregation, and they get elected or reelected. I mean, that's the game that's being played upon us as people. And at some point in time, even a mule, which is a cross between a horse and a donkey, or a jackass, has to understand what's happening to it.
Eddie, but this has been going on for decades now, keeping these
Hundreds of years.
keeping these liberals in power and then voting them back into power, Eddie. That's like suicide.
I'm not gonna make it that simple. It's not.
Come on now.
I'm not gonna say Democrat, Republican. I'm gonna say white people, period. Black people, period. We understand. Because I can't say every policeman all over the country that have been shooting black folks for the last 100 years, I can't say all of them were Democrat or all of them were Republican. It didn't matter. I'm going to tell you what it was. All the people who were shooting folks were white, and all the people who were getting shot were black. See, you don't get no simpler than that. And I'm not trying to micromanage it or micro-define it. You know, it's the fact that if that black guy was related to Howard Hughes, and everybody knew he was related to Howard Hughes, they wouldn't shoot him in the back. If he related to Bill Gates, if he related to the Rockefellers, see, because it's about money. Because, see, them folks, you shoot somebody in their family, they are not just come after you in the court system. See, because see, everybody think they're all upstanding, good, upright people. People gonna start dying. I'm telling you, cause it's a face. It's a system based upon money. If somebody hurts one of their family members bad enough, they are not, and I repeat, they are not gonna leave it up to the system. They're not.
Eddie, and to prove your point, that is so true. It's not who you know. You got family with money. Same thing happened with Smollett. His auntie, VP Kamala Harris, made all those charges and making that stuff up go away. It's money, Eddie. Money and politics. And people are the pawns, and that's a terrible thing.
Yeah. And that wasn't what my show was supposed to be about today. I actually was going to take on from what I started last week. Because last week, you know, they had the TampaBay Black Business Bus Tour.
Oh, yeah.
Where they actually, and that was last weekend.
Oh, my
They
goodness. I missed it.
actually did the buses, where they load the buses up with patrons with dollars in their pocket,
Mm-hmm.
and they took them to black businesses all over Hillsborough County, the city of Tampa, and they bought stuff. Now, if you was listening to the show last week, I was talking about Chinatowns.
Mm-hmm.
There are over 100 Chinatowns in America. Many of these, the one in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm. Big one.
started in 1800.
And still going strong.
Still going strong. Matter of fact, they're expanding.
Oh, my goodness.
The one in San Francisco, San Diego, New York. New York got 9 Chinatowns.
Really?
Yes.
Oof, I didn't know.
I didn't either.
What did they figure out that the other communities can't figure out, Eddie?
You know, now the dynamics are not that much different from black folks. Black folks still stay in segregated communities.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to tell you, I can go to several places in Tampa, and ain't nothing but black folks. But they still, see, the difference is, in Chinatown,
Mm-hmm.
they only spend their money with other Chinese people.
Oh.
The market, the restaurants, the hotels, the different services, cleaners. I'm not just talking about things that Chinese are known for. I'm just talking about stuff that all these
Business
Chinatown
owners.
got all
Yeah.
these different businesses, shops, stores. And matter of fact, in Chinatown in San Francisco, they got their own phone service.
What?
They got their own phone service. So, and they're not just, see, back in the South, like I'm in the South.
Mm.
Here
We
in the
are.
South, black neighborhoods used to always be defined by railroad tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Well, Chinatown, how do they keep, and how have they kept the Chinatown for that period of time? They only sell their property to other Chinese people.
Whoa.
They keep the land inside the village. And if you understand, and if you know anything about history, I know some of you may find this very boring, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Come on.
San Francisco had 2 major earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
It destroyed the Chinatown like it did the rest of San Francisco. Guess what? They kept the property in the hands of Chinese people, and the Chinese people rebuilt the Chinatown in the exact same location that it was before. Now, of course, white folks want to move them
Oh, yeah.
and separate them and disperse them
Mhm.
into the community. But they knew what they had. They knew who they were. They had a culture that made them stronger together.
Mm.
If we stay together, we can get more. We can demand more. Our value goes up
Mm-hmm.
as a community. And I'm telling, black folks this, because as a community, if we react, not so much react, act, period, when these types of atrocities happen in our communities, they may not fear you now as a community. If they know that you're going to act toward them the same way they act toward you, you're going to get their attention.
And you know, Eddie, we're talking two different levels here. I see the conversation splitting because you've mentioned this in the past about policies. Being able to control the people or the actions of people with policies. And for example, the burn, loot, murder group, they only know rioting and killing people. Okay, that brings attention. Yes, right, it does. But that's not the attention you want for the black people. But now, if black people band together, like you're saying, and say, hey, let's put political people in power that listen to our cause.
And control them.
Oh.
The community needs to control our political people.
And then the policies can be changed to help the black people, the Hispanics, all. But it can be changed. Otherwise, we keep burning down our own businesses, killing our own people, and yet nothing is changing. And year after year, decades out, we're electing the same crooks to run the same system, expecting them to give us value suddenly. They don't give a about us.
Well, like I was saying before, you gotta take it. You gotta assume it.
Mm.
Every black person know it may be something new and different to white folks, but Martin Luther King would not have been as effective as he was without Malcolm X. See, because we pretty much gave him two choices. You can take the good black guy,
Mm-hmm.
or you can take the bad black guy. But you got to deal with one or the other. When you have consequences, do you want Martin Luther King or do you want Malcolm X?
Mm-hmm.
Because both of them
We're effective.
are not going to ignore the situation.
That's true. You got it.
See, they're going to react. Now, Martin Luther King may show up with a couple thousand folks and march on your city, march across your bridge, or march in front of your city hall, and you do what you want. But see, that brings national, worldwide attention. Malcolm X, they're gonna do military style march in front of your police station, line up, and if necessary, any means necessary, if necessary, go toe to toe with your local police force, because they always had more than enough folks to do that, if they chose to do that.
Now, Eddie, right now, what you just said, understanding that we have black leaders, commissioners, and such in Tampa right now.
One each.
One each. We're allowed. We're allowed.
Yeah,
one each.
They allow you one each.
And
One in the city council, one in county commissioner, one on the school board.
And with that black leadership out there, if everybody in the black community can stop and think, how many of them have spoken up about any of this or changing any policies? Zero.
Well, that's the thing, and I heard something.
Zero.
I usually don't comment.
Come on.
From other folks' show, but I would think this would be an opportunity for anybody who had concern for what happened within the black community would have said this is a good day for the country. This is a proud day. May the family of George Floyd, rest in peace. That he's gonna be okay because his family got justice and whatever else. but that's not the case. Nobody, I repeat, nobody in this community, well, maybe one or two white folk. Let me say
of
that.
course.
Maybe one or two good white folks,
There we go.
which don't include the mayor.
Oh, come on, Eddie. Come on.
Because she was in the hood all pre-election season, hugging babies,
And how many policies changed, Eddie?
kissing this and kissing that, and doing what she needed to
No
do.
policies changed, yeah.
But at the end of the day, the economics
Mm-hmm.
of black folks in Tampa,
Same old,
Hillsborough,
same
have
same.
not changed.
No, same old, same.
And I'm telling you right now, I ain't begging for any damn
Mhm.
thing.
No.
I'm not asking them for
Opportunity.
anything. I'm just saying, if there's a certain degree of the equality everybody keep talking about,
Mm-hmm.
if the banks and the financial institutions looked upon black folks
With value.
in their own community as they do white folks, primarily, South Tampa. I mean, I'm not calling East Tampa and West Tampa South Tampa, but at the end of the day, when you start doing financial evaluations, the assessments, the opportunities, they should be the same, but they're not. And we all know it.
You're right.
And until we get institutions that pretty much make it so that you ain't got to depend on, and I don't want to just call out, Bank of America,
All right.
TD Banks,
All right.
any bank you want to call, any credit union you want to call, because none of them are vested
Mm-mm.
in your community. And that's how you change. That's why Chinatown is still Chinatown. Because they have banks, they have money, they have their own money. And because they got their own money, it allows them and the property owners and the people who are vested in the Chinatown, that's why they can go from 1800 to the day and not only keep their own property, but expand. Because, I read an article this morning where in New York, Chinatown has pretty much expanded and took over Little Italy. Little Italy used to have a section of town, and pretty much a lot of that is now Chinatown. The Chinese businesses are expanding beyond the old boundaries.
But that also means, Eddie, that the Little Italy didn't have the same passion to keep their land, to keep their businesses up and running, and to do business with Italian people that can support them. Because there's enough money coming out of this black community in Tampa, Florida, Eddie. It can run a ton of businesses. There's money how many? Eddie, there's money being spent by black people all around this town.
Not with other black people.
Hispanics are guilty too now.
Yeah.
Hispanics are guilty of that as well. But I'm just saying, there's money there, Eddie. And if they could pull that together and say, hey, let's work with this business this day, or I don't know. That money that the Chinese have figured out, and you talk about the Jewish people in the past, they circulate that dollar bill over and over inside. That can happen in our community right here in Tampa and make the black community stronger with money. Now politicians have to listen. Now politicians have to change policies.
Well, before the show, me and Tim was having a conversation, and he brought up this economic term, the velocity of money.
That's nice.
Well, every now and then Tim come up with a good one. So
there you go, Tim.
So
that's a plug.
So the velocity of money within Chinatown, he says about 14. The velocity of money in most black communities in America is about 2, maybe 3.
Eddie, and a lot of people got iPhones. You know a lot of them paying for a monthly service somewhere.
Right. Yeah, oh yeah.
They got cable.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got these calling plans. They're spending money, Eddie. They're just not doing it wisely, is what you're trying to point out.
And I'm gonna say something that may get me in trouble.
Oh boy.
And it may make the phones light up.
PC? Are we being PC, Eddie?
I'm not PC.
Okay, let's go.
That's my problem.
Let's hit it.
You know, they got something out there called CRA.
CRA.
And the communities that these CRAs are in, I mean, it's one downtown, you know, but if the community, so I think East Tampa and West Tampa both got $6 million each.
Mm-hmm.
If that number's wrong, I know somebody gonna call me and tell me, you know, but if they took that money, which is supposed to be spent within those communities,
Mm-hmm.
and start planning, figuring out a way to pretty much spend that money on acquiring properties that's for sale, or people who are in financial trouble
Mhm.
and about to lose their properties to the city, you know, county, state, bank, whoever else. You know, if the CRAs acquire that property and either used it or sold it,
Mm-hmm.
but they maintain that the continuity
Mm-hmm.
of the black communities would stay black. See, that's the good thing about having the CRA buy the property. If Mr. Lloyd, or Mr. Freeman, you know, Mr. Williams, if they lost or could not keep their properties and they had to sell them, well, with $6 million, the CRAs could come in and buy a lot of properties. And the CRA could now control who those properties go to. You don't have to sell your property to somebody white. That's what I'm saying. The CRA can decide, just like white folks do, who they sell the property to. And if push comes to shove, they can do like everybody does. They can have a grant. They can say, well, if you can fix up this property
Mhm.
and maintain it, we will give it to you. See, that's what grants do.
Hmm.
Grants give you money that you don't have to pay back, but it's got some condition in there that you got to meet in order to fulfill the obligations of the grant.
Eddie, this can go political quick because CRA, they see dollar bills, somebody want to throw money at them. They don't care if they're Chinese, black, or green, or whatever.
Well,
There has to be something written in somewhere saying you can only do it this way.
but that's the issue. It's not written that way, and all the different CRA, because I mean, if you look at what's happening downtown, those giant towers,
Mm-hmm.
the new medical building, all that stuff got a CRA. Harbor
Really?
Channel Side is in the middle of a CRA.
But there's money down there, Eddie.
And-
Already.
But again, the city council
And
these other
we're not
folks
going to say it's mainly white, but okay.
determine who gets the CRA.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a CRA downtown Tampa.
Hmm.
The opportunity to change things, and we may have one black on the city council, one black on county commission, and one black on the school board, and one black here and one black there. That's not political clout,
Mm-mm. No.
and it's not political power.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
What we here in Hillsborough County gonna have to do is come up with a plan so that even though we may not have majority type numbers, which we can do. I mean, we got over 100,000 black folks.
That's some voting power, Eddie.
If
And
they
spending power.
if they work as a block, they can do
Yeah.
whatever the hell they want to do. That's the hard part
Mm.
because they've been culturized
Mm.
to not trust each other, to not work together, to not trust the beneficial assets that can be developed as a community. See, like I say, Chinese folks may have a problem
Oh,
with
yeah, sure.
individuals and stuff, but when it comes to a community,
Mm-hmm. They got that.
they pretty easily can reach a consensus and stand as a block.
Mm.
I hear black folks say, well, we'll block vote. We'll block BLOCK, block vote.
Mm-hmm.
Not black vote, block vote. and we all vote together. But the issue becomes, what the hell do we all vote together for?
The wrong things right now.
And that's the problem.
Mm.
See, we can't decide what we want for everybody. When we decide and take our block vote and all vote for the same thing, we get one black city council person.
One.
That's mandated by law.
That's what you're allowed, because
Well,
that's what the black people are allowed.
That's what the district give us now.
Yeah.
There's no legal reason we can't have two or three.
Eddie, come on
Or
now. They're
four.
not allowed that.
Or
If
four.
you've been told by the systemic racist system you're only allowed one black representative, then all you got to get in line.
That's all. That's the only legal one, because it's the district. The district was divided up such that you got enough blacks in a geographical area that the chances are that you would elect a black person. You don't have to, because a white person can run and win the district. There won't be no black folks up there. They did all this with a plan, thinking that you would never, and they've been right for a pretty long time.
Decades, yeah.
You would never get your act together enough to get two city councilmen.
And they're proven right.
That's black. Or two county commissioners, that's black. That's 7. It ain't, that's not some monstrous number, because if you get 2, then all them 2 got to do is get 2 more folks to agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
So
there you go.
So what you kind of do? They're all politicians. So this strategy can work. It's there. But the community and the politicians, folks we elect, gotta work together. We can't always be at odds with each other. That's our issue. That's our problem. We can't be on these shows, everybody's show but mine,
Of course.
fussing and fighting with each other publicly. You're literally playing into the hands of the majority. I mean, first thing they tell you, divide and conquer.
Big time.
Keep them fussing and fighting among themselves.
Over nothing.
That's why they only give out crumbs. They give crumbs to the black and Hispanic community.
Big time.
Look at USF. USF, $550 million. And what do? They brag because they gave work of $100,000 to black folks in Tampa Bay.
That's just being in a bucket.
$500 million. They've only given contracts to black folks for $100,000, and they were bragging because breaking their arm, patting themselves on the back. Oh, look at what we did. You ain't done nothing.
No.
That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And no one locally is going to tell them that. Nobody can say it and mean it and affect their bottom line. See, that's what got to happen. Somebody that affects their bottom line got to say, not ask them, you got to tell them.
Not acceptable.
You're going to do the right thing. Because Moffitt Hospital sits on the same campus, the same property as USF. And Moffitt has spent, someone told me, $20 or $30 million with black folks in this area, Tampa Bay area. Now, their bottom line probably ain't $500 million.
Yeah.
They probably nowhere close to the whole University of South Florida, just Moffitt Hospital.
Yeah. But Eddie, I think what you keep talking about here is things that require people to think differently. And we point out in the show several times, people are not allowed to think differently if you think you can expand. Because you're the one that came to the show one time saying, I don't want to just go fishing somewhere in some lake or some pond. I want to own the pond, the lake. I want to own the land it's on. And right now, Eddie, that's not being preached.
Finish it and go fishing whenever the hell I get good and damn ready. See that's my thing. You know, not just teach you to fish and fish. You know, no. I want to own the lake, own the land, and go fishing. Make it my decision to go fishing.
And again, but all that requires people to do something different, Eddie. And
Yeah.
there's nothing going on right now from these politicians that people keep electing decade after decade into office that they're doing anything different. And I know you represent a particular school, academy, that you've been involved for several years now. And for people to say, well, no, these politicians are doing the best they can, the hell they are. They're not. Look in your community. Look around there. It's not working. You need to get something else in place, folks.
Well, they're doing what they told.
Oh,
See,
Eddie, come on.
And that's the thing.
Come on.
Okay, let's do it on this day.
Let's go happy.
Yeah. Okay, find a happy place.
Come on.
On this day, April the 24th, 1800, the Library of Congress was established with a $5,000 allocation. That's what it took to start the Library of Congress. On this day, April the 24th, 1889, the Edison General Electric Company was organized. On this day, April 24th, 1953, Winston Churchill, for those who keep up with those kind of things, was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II. She made Winston Churchill a knight. And on this day, April 24th, 1970, the People's Republic of China launched its first satellite. So they got in the space race in 1970. All right, Gabriel, bring it.
You know, folks, there's a lot been going on politically here, and we talk about politics, and Eddie's quick to say, you know, we're not always PC. Has anybody thought to ask why it was a young woman knifing another young woman that led to all of this about the police situation? Why isn't somebody, let's go ask the young woman that was saved. Is she happy she lived? Defunding the police will lead to chaos and destruction, mainly affecting Black and Hispanic communities. Hello? You are chanting your own racist demise. Systemic racism does exist and will continue to exist as long as liberal Democrats run the system, as past decades prove. Liberals are racist against their own constituents. Liberals are not working to improve their communities or schools by not allowing students to transfer to better schools. They must keep control of them, keep them dumb. Police is the current boogeyman that liberals point to instead of their failed policies across America. Find me a failing school in America and you will find a liberal in charge. Policing and crime are the worst in liberal cities across America. But broken families are the root. Why is everybody avoiding this elephant in the room? Whether white or black, if the father is pulled out, watch the crime skyrocket. Liberals come to the rescue with lax of laws, giving thugs a pass. Liberals, Democrats usually have crap economies, crap high schools, crap hospitals. Crime is through the roof, and liberals are in charge. They own it, folks. They've owned it for decades. Meanwhile, on a nicer note, LeBron has proved that having a lot of money doesn't necessarily make you smarter, as he came out against the person that actually saved a black life. Now, if we look at all these liberals that are chanting defund the police, whether from Washington to anywhere across this America celebrity-wise, they live in gated communities. They have their own security teams. They're not going to hear and see what you're going to see in your community when there ain't no police around. Yeah, okay then. Meanwhile, as we go forward, as we think on happy things, if I win the lottery, I'm going to share with everyone here. Everyone. I mean it, Eddie. Everyone. Oh, not the money. But I'm going to tell you all that I won. I'm going to share. You know, I thought the dryer was making my clothes shrink, Eddie, as I've gotten older. Turns out
You getting fatter.
No, turns out it was the refrigerator. It wasn't the dryer after all. And let's see, we come to a close here, folks, on some happy notes. My farmer friend used his stimulus check to buy baby chicks. That's right, folks. He got his money for nothing and his chicks for free.
All right. There you go. Now that's probably the best closing of one of your rants that you've done since you've been doing it. So
Thank you very
that
much.
was a good one. So this is Porch Talk Radio, and like I said when I started this show, we don't always talk, we don't follow, we don't have the conversation that most of the other hosts on TMP radio and these shows that talk about issues and problems in the community.
But they're repeating the same problems. There's no solution.
That's why we don't talk about the same ones.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, we kind of, I want to be like that third grade teacher that puts a thought in your head and it stays there
Mm-hmm.
when you're a senior. You got an idea and it's in your head, and sometimes you have to get the stuff around it in your head to bring it to fruition.
I think you've said that before about our show.
Yeah, you got a good
If
idea.
we upset you, there's a good reason. You
Yeah.
need to look at that more.
Yeah, you got an idea, and that's good. There's a lot of good ideas out there.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they never leave your head.
Mm-hmm.
I got a great idea. Why don't the people with money
Mm-hmm.
decide that they want to reinvest or invest some of that money, even though they don't live in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody is investing in the hood because every week I see new 3-story, 4-story, 6, 7-story buildings going up in the hood, and them ain't black folks.
Mm.
Now, if somebody has done the study, done the profit and gain and the loss analysis and all the other stuff that the economists do before they start putting up giant buildings in the hood,
So if they can make the money there, and so can a black person?
I'm saying
Ooh.
if they don't determine that you can make money, why won't we do it? I'm saying, cause we got black folks with money.
Mm-hmm.
We got black millionaires. We may not have black billionaires, but I know we got one, maybe two black billionaires
Mm-hmm.
because the whole world know who they are.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them, you know, she got her money the same time her husband did. You know, they used to own BET, and that lady lives less than 50 miles from here. Now she may not have no local interest.
Mm.
You know, she may not.
But that can change, Eddie.
Want to put any of her money into the local economy.
Money. We're talking hundreds of millions, Eddie.
We're talking about billions. She's a billionaire.
Oh, okay. I was holding on my $5, and you're talking about billions.
Yeah, she's a billionaire. You know, they sold BET Network.
Ooh.
That woman lives less than 50 miles from here.
Hmm.
She owns, and I'm not picking on her. I'm just saying that there are people who have resources and
To not throw, but invest.
their money has value.
Mm-hmm.
And if they ever decided to change the lives of folks who cannot do any better than what they're doing, I mean, the average black family is comprised of folks scraping and scratching and trying to make an existence.
Mm-hmm.
And when you spend your time just trying to make a living, that really don't leave you a lot of time to get involved in politics
And change policies.
and go to a bunch of meetings
Yeah.
and do some of this other stuff that people do who have more time, more resources, and the get up and go, the drive
Mm-hmm.
to make a difference. Because a lot of time, my mom, and I gotta say something about my mom.
Come on.
My mom had 5 kids, and when I was a kid, most of my childhood, she worked 2 jobs.
Mm.
I, as an adult, can look back and say, my mom pretty much didn't have no time to get involved in politics. She did. Because, between working 2 jobs, that's 16 hours a day, and to come home and wind down, eat and sleep, and get up the next day and go to work. My mom never had a car until I bought one for her, and I was a freshman in college before I bought my mom her first car. So my entire childhood,
Was Poe.
we never had a car.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of people take stuff like that for granted today.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking and telling you that, she went to work, 2 jobs. She caught a cab. That's why she got to work. They didn't have Uber and Lyft and all that stuff back then. They had the old-fashioned cab company.
And for the money she was making, Eddie, I'm sure it added up quick.
Every day she had to pay. And I think they put on a weekly, so she paid once. She paid when she got paid. She paid the cab off. So they would come and take her to work, and they would come and pick her up. And then whatever she had left when she got through with all that scenario, it was income for the house with 6 people in it, 5 kids and her. So, and I gotta say this too before I go. 5 kids and my mom, and in 1969, she bought a house, a 4-bedroom house, and moved us all in it. And that house is still there today. And unless, I can't say what happened to it after I'm gone. Long as I am alive, like I tell you, the value of property, that property will be in the family. And that's what folks got to do. It ain't the people who made it. It ain't the people who made it possible. It is up to you, the survivors. That's what happened to the 40 acres and a mule. A lot of those folks got some property, but what they did 1 or 2 generations later, they sold it. So it's some families that got property that's been handed down for generation to generation, and they look like us. Somebody in the family gotta have enough sense, gotta have enough influence, gotta have enough of something who talk them into, if you gotta sell it to somebody that look like you. Sell it to somebody else in the family. Don't let these carpetbaggers come and keep taking property out of our community. I tell folks this, it's like orange grove. As long as they keep replanting orange groves in an orange grove, they're gonna keep having orange grove. They come and put one housing community up, you will never see another orange grove.
You're right about that. It's done.
So that's what happens when white folks come to the black community. Once they come, they ain't gonna sell it to you. They gonna only sell it to somebody else who look like them, even though it's in the black community. So, Tampa Bay, Facebook Live. Until we do this again next week, hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, same bat time, same bat station. We love you.
God bless.
Bye-bye.